Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is ZillaFan85, and I, of course, represent YouTube's bargain basement of the airwaves. I'm back today with my latest video, my latest figure review. Today, we're going to go ahead and take a look at my Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla 1991 Hokkaido Battle version figure. So, yeah, I know that that's a mouthful to say that, but that's what the figure is essentially known as. So this is my first foray into buying a Hiya Toys figure. So it's the only one that I currently own, but definitely one that was highly sought after by myself because if you know, you know, the 1991 version of Godzilla, particularly the Hokkaido version of the suit, is my favorite Godzilla design of all time. And I do say the Hokkaido version just as the figure indicates because there are essentially two versions of the suit. There's suit A and suit B. So suit A is Hokkaido and suit B is Shinjuku for the final battle with Godzilla wreaking havoc in Shinjuku district and then fighting Mecha King Ghidorah at the finale of the film, which of course is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah from 1991. And a Godzilla film that I absolutely love. So again, extremely excited to have this figure. It is my only Hiya Toys figure, but I really do love this one. Very, very happy to have it. So let's go ahead though. Let's go ahead and jump into it. And yes, King Goji, I did see your review on this guy. And yes, I had already had the figure by that point, but just been, able to get to things when I can. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. We're going to start with the paint and the detail work. They did a very nice job of capturing the 1991 Godzilla design, in my opinion, from the Hokkaido version, where he does have that like peak at like that crescent point or peak at the top of his head. As you guys can see here, depicted very well, and you've got the rivets and the dorsal spines that go onto the head there. You can see all the sculpting work there, the rivets, and then the dorsal spines that start to protrude out from the top of the head. Very, very cool there. You got the sort of pronounced eyebrows that he's got. Nicely done. All in this, the signature charcoalish gray paint scheme for Godzilla's skin tone. Very, very nicely done. You got the ears captured very well there, as you guys can see. So, very, very cool there, folks. And then, of course, all the facial features here. You do have the eyes, which we'll get to this. This is the updated sculpt with the updated eyes that they made for this figure. Which obviously to me is the go-to version as opposed to the original version of the head sculpt that they made for it. But you can see though he's got the blacks around the outlining of the eyes, and of course that like orangish brown for like the irises themselves. If the camera picks it up, and then like the black dots for the pupils there. It gives a really nice menacing look. It isn't 100% accurate, and I know the heat ray version is the eyes are done a little bit better even than on this one, but I still really like it. I still think it looks really, really good. Very, very cool. You got the nostrils there. You got some of the folds and flaps for his jowls. And of course, on the inside of the mouth, you've got the rows of teeth, as you guys can see, like, essentially double rows of teeth there. So they did capture that detail very, very nicely. They're nice and pointy, the teeth. They're done in this creamish bone color, if you will. Looks really, really good. And then, of course, you got like the reddish color, like the maroonish reddish color for the roof of the mouth and for the tongue. So as you guys can see that. So it looks really, really good. Like almost like a pink gum. Well, like a reddish or even like a pinkish gum color, I guess, if you will. But it looks really nice nonetheless here. She got some of the scales done throughout. The lines and grooves and segments done on the front of the neck there. The scales in the outer part. Again, all that charcoalish gray color. Very, very nicely captured here. You've got the chest, which is not as super pronounced as it really should be for this version of Godzilla, but it still looks good nonetheless, though, I think. And again, more of the scales and lines and musculature done throughout, as you guys can see on the chest and abdomen area, captured very well. Again, all the scales on the arms here, points for the elbows there, and again some flaps and folds and whatnot, and some musculature done throughout. And of course the hands here with all the patterning, nice detail work done for those. And then the palms of the hands, more of the detail, the lines and segments, wrinkles captured on both sides for the hands. And then of course you got the nice pointy claws there, again done in like that creamish bone color, like an ivory creamish bone color, if you will. It looks really nice though, I think, and they are pretty sharp to the touch. So again, really, really well done there, folks. And of course, going down on the hips here, all the scales, and then of course the scales run down the big bulky legs, the chunky thighs that this Godzilla is certainly known for, but nice musculature and folds and flaps done throughout. Of course, the kneecaps done, still plenty of detail work with all the scales and wrinkles and everything for those. All the scales running down the calves here and everything, down to the ankles, and then of course the feet. All that detail work captured there. Scaly looking feet and all that. On the bottom part, nice wrinkles and lines and grooves and everything. Of course, you got the trademark information there for 2025 Hiya China, which is where Hiya Toys is based out of. So very, very nicely done. And again, like this creamish, ivory-ish bone color for the toe claws as well. Again, nice and sharp to the touch. Even like some extra detailing captured just to make it pop, make it look a little bit more realistic. Looks very, very nice, folks. And then you got like the smoky gray done for the rows of dorsal spines there, the smaller spines, and then the larger dorsal plates here on the back. Again, nice and pointed at the touch, nice and detailed very well. You can see all the patterning as like the smoky gray kind of fades into the charcoalish gray in the more center part of the spines there. And again, like all the detailing, rough texture, scaliness done for all the dorsal spines there, folks. It goes down onto the tail and runs all the way just about to the tip of the tail. So very, very nicely done. And of course the tail itself, you've got all the scaliness done throughout, and you've got all the segments done here. And again, more of the wrinkles and lines and everything captured throughout the entire tail. So very, very nicely done. They certainly did not skimp at all on detail work on this figure. So very, very awesome, folks. Really, really captured well. So other than that, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the paint and detail work on this guy. So now as far as articulation goes, some of the joints are stiff. Yes, I know you can heat them up with a blow dryer and hot water and whatnot, but just kind of off the cuff going for what it is. You do have a nice amount of points of articulation. So certainly, I mean, maybe not completely on par with a Monster Arts figure, but for what it is, it's really done well. So starting here at the head, where the base of the head joins into the top part of the neck, it's on a ball joint. So you can get Godzilla to look down, you can get him to look up. Of course, you can turn side to side. lean side to side. Of course, if you want, you can rotate it all the way around. Because it is on that ball joint, I'm not going to mess with doing that, but very, very well. Got, I believe, a hinge here for the jaw, so you can get it to open about yay wide and close almost fully. Pretty good there, and the tongue is actually, I believe, on like a little hinge here, so that you can get some articulation done through that. There you go. You could probably use like a pen or something, would be a little bit better, but I was able to use my fingernail to do that, so you guys can see there that the tongue does articulate there. Do the best I can to pick that up with the camera, folks, but nonetheless, looks really good. Very, very awesome. Now, for the other parts of articulation, you do have another. So you got one other joint. I thought there was two, but it looks like, unless this part is just really stiff here. Well, maybe there is another ball joint here at the midsection of the neck. It's just kind of stiff on mine, but you can further the range of motion there, as you guys can see. Look up and down, turn it ever so slightly, lean it. So go, and then of course at the base of the neck where it joins into the shoulders, again another ball joint there. So you can look down, add to that range of motion, and look pretty decent ways up. And of course it will turn side to side and lean side to side, so not too bad for what it is, certainly. And of course the arms, where they join into the shoulders, they're on a ball joint, so you can raise them up like that. So you can kind of get that T-pose going, bring them in like that. Of course they will rotate, and they will go all the way around on both sides, of course. I don't like to push it too much, but you get the point, certainly. And of course you can rotate them as well on that ball joint. Now at the elbow here, it is, you have basically double ball jointed here. So this part here basically at the bicep, and then of course where like the forearm area is, so the 2 points of articulation, the two ball joints for the elbow area there. You can get them to get the arms to move out and in like that, out and in. Of course they will rotate like so, turn, so pretty good there. And then of course at the wrist area here, you do have another double ball joint here, so at this part of the wrist, and then where the wrist joins into the hand itself. So you got two different ball joints there, so just to give it a little extra range of motion. But you know, you get the swivel hinge combo there out of that. Here, as you guys can see, swivel and hinge. So just to give it that extra range with the extra joint there. So pretty good. And of course, here at the midsection, you got a ball joint there. So you can get them to do an ever so slight ab crunch like that. Of course, you can look back. Obviously, the sculpt will hinder any true range of motion there, but you can get some. And of course, you can turn a little bit and lean side to side a bit. So as you guys can see there. Now, of course, where the legs join into the hips here, you got a ball joint on both sides, of course. So you can get them to go out probably about that far. I mean, you know, if I push it, it could probably go further, but you know, basically getting about that. I mean, obviously the sculpt is going to hinder range of motion again. So, but you can rotate them as well. Of course, you can kick forward and back like that. Again, if you push it, you can probably get it to go all the way around because it's a ball joint, but I'm not going to mess with that. And then, of course, you got a double ball joints here, just like with the elbows at the kneecaps there, so you guys can see where the points of articulation are on both sides. So again, you can in and out, the extra range of motion with the extra joint there, in and out there. And of course you can rotate these as well. So as you guys can see there, so very, very cool. Of course you can rotate the lower legs there, calf areas, very, very nicely, folks. And then of course you get ball joint at the ankles there, where they join into the legs on both sides, as you guys can see. So you can hinge them out in like that. Pretty decent range of motion. Of course you can rotate them, and these will pretty freely spin all the way around, as you guys can see, and you get very, very nice ankle rocker. Really, really nice pivot on both of these. So very awesomely done in my opinion. And then of course, last but certainly not least, the star of the show, as many people have noted, is this tail, which is basically segmented pretty much throughout. Almost at every single segment has a ball joint on it, just to add to that range of motion, pretty much up until this point here. This is the last point of the tail, but you get really, really nice range of articulation out of this tail. It's absolutely awesome. It is everything that everybody has noted about this Godzilla tail and what you can do with it, and the fact that it does hold its pose. I haven't had issues with it popping out, and you can really get a lot of range of motion. I have even been able to do that thing where you can curl up the tail and make him balance, but the thing is, from what I've seen, it's not easy to do it, because you really got to position the tail in a way that gets it to balance with the figure. But I mean, you kind of get what I'm saying, but nonetheless, though, really, really awesome. All the points of articulation on this guy. So very, very cool, folks. So definitely cannot complain at all. That tail is one of the best out of all my Godzilla figures that I have, in my opinion. So very, very awesome. Now, as far as accessories, because this guy does come with a couple things, let's kind of quickly go over this. So you do have the alternate head sculpt, which this was the original head sculpt that it came with. You can see the differences where it's like those gold eyes with the little black dots for the pupils in the center. Kind of gives it almost like a puppy dog look, I think. So I do appreciate the updated eyes, the updated head sculpt that they did. But, you know, all the detailing is there, same as the alternate head. Otherwise, though, the range of motion, everything else. So, you know, just as the alternate head sculpt there. So, pretty cool there. And then, of course, you do get an alternate set of hands. So these are more gripping type hands. Again, same sculpt, detail work, just in a different position, because those are more open palm. These, again, have that sort of gripping pose. I'm not going to mess with taking them off, but basically you see where they would connect in at this ball joint here. You just pop them out and then put them into place. So, I mean, I guess I could show you one. And then the head, you know, just pops out there. But so you just popped it off. And then pop the new one into place like that. If it wants to go, of course. Alright, so I was able to get it on, and you really got to apply a lot of pressure, though, to pop that into place, to change out the hands. So, not the easiest thing in the world, folks. So, I will let you know. I mean, I guess you can heat up the joints, but let's go ahead and see if I can put the regular hand back on. Yeah, that one goes on pretty easily, but these alternate ones are a little tricky, so. Alright. Nonetheless, cool to have the accessories. Obviously, the heat ray version is the one that has the heat rays. So. Anyway, so that's it as far as the accessories go. Now, as far as sizing for this guy, go ahead and grab the ruler here. Now, you can see that these are pretty good size, these figures. So let me bring in the ruler, or let me bring the camera closer so you guys can kind of see what we're looking at here. So in inches, you're looking at just about 7 inches. I know the camera, the angle may not be doing the greatest job picking it up, but it really is right about in that 7-inch range. So they are on the, they are pretty decently sized, these figures. And of course, obviously, you can convert that into centimeters if you need to. So that's what you're looking at here. And as far as the size comparison, I do have the 91 Shinjuku version of the Monster Arts Godzilla. But I haven't reviewed it yet, so when we get to that one in the future, we'll compare these two. But for right now, I'll do the SH Monster Arts 1989 Godzilla, pretty similar in design anyways. Obviously, they're both based off of the Bio Goji suit design, just with the tweaks that were made for 91. But you can see the size difference here. This guy is more in the 6-inch range, so again, this is in the 7-inch range. So you can see, again, that size difference when looking at the two there. But still, nonetheless, look pretty cool together, I think. And at least kind of one cool thing to note is that the 91 Godzilla is bigger than the 89. The 89 is supposed to be 80 meters tall. And then due to the modern nuclear sub that mutated Godzilla here for 1991, it made him larger. It made him 100 meters tall. So from that perspective, it's kind of cool to see. So anyways, nonetheless, put that off to the side. Now, other than that, as far as pricing goes, so I have seen this guy going up in price. Originally, the retail, I think, was $55 US. Nowadays, though, because it is, he's already been out for, a year plus, whatever. So I have seen prices increasing. I have seen him on eBay and Amazon, places like that. But prices that you're looking at for this now, you're looking at $80 and up. So that is something to keep in mind if you're looking at this guy. I mean, at the $55, maybe $60 range, this is a pretty good price range, I think. But when you're looking at $80 and above, you got to kind of choose your own adventure there, I guess I would say. But nonetheless, though, as a version of the 1991 Godzilla, the Hokkaido version, which again is my personal favorite, if you guys enjoy that Godzilla design and you're in the market, you're looking for this figure, this is really a fantastic figure by Hiya Toys. So I'm very, very happy with my pickup here. I don't know if I'll be getting any others, just because I do have Monster Arts versions, a lot of the other figures from the Toho line that were released. I don't really collect Monsterverse stuff, but nonetheless, though, so I don't know if I'll be getting anything else, but we'll see what Hiya puts out in the future. So nonetheless, though, folks, that pretty much does wrap it up for this video here. I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. As far as content goes, again, it's hit and miss when I put stuff out. So, videos are probably going to continue to be few and far in between, but it just kind of is what it is for, personal reasons. So, but nonetheless, though, folks, again, I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.